All right, look. Everyone thinks space is just empty. A huge, cold, dead void. And we launch our probes into it, our little messages in a bottle, tossed into the ocean. Voyager 2, an incredible feat of engineering, by the way, launched almost 50 years ago. 50! On technology that seems prehistoric now. Most people, and us too if we're being honest, thought its mission was essentially over. It flew past the giants, crossed the heliopause, which is basically the border where our space ends and the real interstellar stuff begins. We were just expecting, well, background noise, data on cosmic dust, magnetic fields, statistics. But now, something's changed. Fundamentally. Voyager saw something. And when I say saw, I don't mean a picture. Its cameras have been dead for decades. It felt it. Its instruments registered movement where, by all the laws of physics, nothing should be moving with intent. Imagine it. Years of absolute predictable silence, just random particles. And then suddenly, a spike. At JPL, they first thought it was a glitch, an error in the plasma wave data. But this wasn't noise. The signal had structure, a rhythm. This isn't random. The probability of this being a natural phenomenon is basically zero. Nature is chaotic. This is order. It wasn't just a burst of energy. It was a signature, a deliberate movement. Someone, or something, was displacing plasma, leaving a wake that Voyager picked up. And here's the thing that's keeping me up at night. We've always looked at the stars and asked, are we alone? We built theories, equations, like the Fermi paradox. It was all an intellectual exercise. And now we have data, the first real point on the graph. And that data point says that out there, in the absolute darkness where we thought there was nothing but vacuum, something is moving. And it's moving like it knows where it's going. This changes everything. All our assumptions, our entire view of the universe, the thing we feared and hoped for. It's not science fiction anymore. It's a problem that we need to solve, and solve it fast. This is why we have to become an interplanetary species, not as an option, but as an absolute necessity. Because the silence, as it turns out, was very deceptive. The engineers thought maybe it was interference, a glitch from cosmic rays, or even system degradation. After all, Voyager 2 is almost 50 years old. But when the same signal repeated, and with increased strength they knew, something was wrong. Or maybe exactly right. Because the data wasn't noise, it was a transmission. Voyager 2 saw something and it recorded it. When the data was cleaned up and analyzed, something surfaced that sent a shockwave through the scientific community. About 500,000 kilometers from the probe, there was an object moving at a velocity inconsistent with any known natural body in that region. No asteroid belts, no rogue planets, no expected comets. And yet this thing, whatever it was, wasn't just drifting, it was tracking. Its direction of travel mirrored Voyager 2's vector. The object's speed was subtly adjusting, mimicking Voyager's trajectory. Imagine a predator silently stalking its prey, adjusting just enough to stay in range, but not enough to alert it. NASA scientists weren't alone in their panic. Independent astronomers and military observers, especially those who track deep space objects, were brought in. They confirmed it. This wasn't a malfunction. The plasma density readings, the magnetometer anomalies, and even tiny fluctuations in the probe's gyroscopic data all pointed to one single conclusion. Voyager 2 had company, and that company might not be friendly. Perhaps the most terrifying discovery came not from what Voyager 2 saw, but from what it sent back. A radio frequency burst, piggybacking on its normal telemetry stream, contained a digital signal that couldn't have come from Voyager's own systems. It wasn't programmed to send a signal like that, but it did. Once decoded, the data packet contained a series of binary strings that, when visually constructed, formed patterns, almost like glyphs. Not natural cosmic waves, not background noise. They were intentional. Some compared them to the geometry of crop circles, others to symbols found in early human history: spirals, intersections, recursive loops. A team of AI linguists and astrophysicists ran the data through contextual analysis algorithms. The results were chilling. The signal structure was consistent with what we'd expect from a deliberate transmission. Not from Voyager, but from something else. Something that had either hijacked or injected itself into the signal stream. Whether it was a warning or a message, no one could say for sure. But the implication was clear. Voyager 2 wasn't alone in deep space, and what it encountered may have noticed us back. The scientific community fractured. Some argue this is the proof we've been waiting for, the confirmation that we are not alone. Others are less optimistic, fearing it's a signal of observation or, worse, a prelude. In past decades, the thought of alien life was mostly confined to exoplanet discoveries and faint signals from distant stars. But this was close. And it wasn't passive. What makes this discovery even more chilling is the timing. Similar anomalies were observed in Voyager 1's data just months earlier, but were dismissed as static. Now, that data is being re-examined in a new light. And many believe we were too blind, too arrogant to consider the most terrifying explanation. Someone or something has been watching us for longer than we ever dared to admit. And now, they've made contact. As Voyager 2's instruments continued to gather data, the Deep Space Network team received a raw feed of electromagnetic readings, frequencies oscillating in patterns they had never seen before. At first, analysts thought it could be interference, cosmic rays, background fluctuations. But when the team isolated the signal and amplified its waveforms, what they saw was stunning. A structured sequence, pulsing with mathematical precision, as if it were artificial. The scientists ran a Fourier analysis. What they saw mirrored the primary harmonic frequencies of hydrogen, but inverted, a deliberate alteration of the most common element in the universe. What could that mean? The signal wasn't just noise. It was trying to speak. The team mapped the signal's path against Voyager 2's trajectory and found that its movement had changed. It wasn't random. It was tracking the probe. Digging through archives, an intern at NASA stumbled upon Voyager 1's telemetry from a decade earlier. When they compared the data, a disturbing overlap emerged. In the exact same region of interstellar space, decades apart, Voyager 1 had experienced a momentary data anomaly almost identical to Voyager 2's recent findings. But back then, the disruption was written off as static. Now, in hindsight, it looked like first contact. The scientist went back to the Voyager 1 logs and applied modern AI-driven decoding tools to the signal distortion. The result, the waveform, was a near-perfect match to the current event. This was no coincidence. Someone or something was waiting in the void and had encountered both Voyager probes. The conclusion? We hadn't been noticed for the first time. Using precision modeling, the team mapped the anomaly's movement. It didn't follow gravitational arcs like a comet or asteroid. Instead, its trajectory bent unnaturally, as if warping space-time itself to remain hidden. No simulation could replicate its path using known physics. Worse, the object seemed to accelerate and decelerate at will, hovering just at the edge of visibility, just beyond the reach of standard optical instruments. NASA scientists described its behavior as reactive, meaning it only moved in response to Voyager's transmissions. Was it listening, learning, or trying to avoid being detected? Some began to wonder, what if Voyager 2 didn't just detect this thing? What if it provoked it, Although the object remained visually elusive, the probe's magnetometer began registering rapid shifts in magnetic flux, shifts so violent they suggested an active manipulation of electromagnetic fields. Conspiracy theories erupted across the globe, claiming Voyager 2 had made contact with an interstellar intelligence. But they weren't just theories. A former JPL engineer leaked an internal report suggesting the anomaly's field distortions resembled toroidal energy patterns, similar to those produced by theoretical Alcubierre drives or warp fields. Had Voyager stumbled upon something far beyond our comprehension? Something capable of folding the very fabric of space? The energy patterns weren't fading. They were intensifying. And every pulse, every wave, seemed to resonate with one terrifying truth. We are not alone. And we never were. Meanwhile, something even more frightening began to happen on Earth. Radio telescopes in Chile, Australia, and South Africa started picking up faint but recurring signal echoes of the same distorted frequency that Voyager 2 had recorded. These echoes were weak, buried under the hum of background cosmic radiation. But they all shared one disturbing characteristic. They pulsed in perfect sync with the transmission delays of Voyager 2's deep space signals. It was as if something out there was mirroring the probe's activity. Analysts dubbed it the phantom pulse. Attempts to triangulate a source failed. But one thing became undeniable. This was not a localized anomaly. Whatever was out there had found a way to project its presence across vast sections of space simultaneously. The pattern wasn't just intelligent, it was strategic, as if designed to be noticed, but only when humanity was ready. At this point, the conversation in classified scientific circles shifted from, "What is it?" to the more unsettling, "Why now?" Voyager 2 had been drifting silently for nearly 5 decades. Its journey was expected to fade into the cosmic background. But now, just as artificial intelligence and quantum decoding were maturing on Earth, the anomaly decided to respond. Was it a coincidence? Or was it an invitation? Some theorized the object wasn't just reacting to Voyager's presence, but to Earth's technological advancement. That it had been waiting, watching silently. And now that humanity had the tools to decipher its message, it finally made its move. Governments enacted a media blackout. Private observatories were quietly shut down. Some AI researchers were even reported to be pulled from their projects without explanation. Behind closed doors, the question was louder than ever. Did Voyager 2 provoke first contact? Or did it wake something we were never meant to find? In the end, Voyager 2 became more than just a messenger from Earth. It became the catalyst for a revelation that shattered our sense of cosmic loneliness. The mysterious moving structure, the mirrored transmissions, the coded frequencies, none of it fits into the neat boxes of human science. Someone or something is out there, not billions of light years away, but lurking in the shadows of our own solar system, watching, waiting, and perhaps most terrifying of all, they chose to answer now. Not when Voyager launched, not when it passed Neptune, but now, when our species finally reached the technological threshold to understand. The question is no longer if we are alone. The real question is, what did we just wake up? Stay tuned, because this story is far from over. The next signal could arrive at any moment. And the next discovery might change not just what we know about the universe, but who we are.